Hey there! Hope everyone's having a nice start to October and fall and all the fun festivities that happen around this time of year. If you enjoy it, we definitely do. Pumpkin patches and pumpkin everything. So much fun. Anyway, we're getting to our first recipe of the month. We are making a $1 million, it's supposed to be spaghetti. I have a bunch of other pastas, so I'm using one of those instead, but it's $1 million pasta bake. So let's get to it. It's time for another episode of Cooking with Kaitlin. That's me. Enjoy. All right, we're heating up water there so that we will get our pasta into it in a minute. I've got some veggies to chop up first. I'm going to be putting on a little plate. I'm going to start with my onion because it'll take the longest. And this is going to be one of those where you just, I'm going to take that outer layer off because we don't want that. Sorry. Be good to make for stocks. You can always save it to make soup stock like we've done before. But for this, you're just chopping it to the size you want. Since we'll be sharing this with our baby, I'm going to be going a little smaller for him. So yes, it's just up to you. So if you like larger chunks, do that. If you want them smaller, do smaller. Check back in a little bit. All right, the onion's done. Now we're just going to slice up the baby bellas. Just had a few left over, decided to toss them in this recipe because they're good. Veggies are yum. So I've got 6 baby bellas. And again, you're just chopping to the size you want to have in your pasta dish. And we're going a little smaller because we'll be sharing this with the baby, all of it. All right. All right, so I'll finish up, get back with you later. All right, and then we've got some basil. We've got some other spices we'll use, but the basil is fresh because we've got some growing in our yard thanks to my dad last visit. So just gonna have us some nice fresh basil that we've trimmed, put in there. It smells so good. Obviously I've washed it and like rinsed it or whatever to go in there. It'll just be a nice strong flavor. Well, strong enough. It already smells so good. Just cutting into it to go in. Alright, one sec. Alright, we've got a pound of beef and a pound of Italian sausage. Just gonna lightly salt and pepper at the start, get them going. We'll check back in a little bit. Alright, so our meat's almost done cooking. We'll be draining it in a second. Our pasta is done, but we want to reserve a cup of pasta water before we drain it, so I just wanted to remind y'all. And I've added some garlic to our meat as we cook and crumble it all. So yeah, so we'll be checking back in a second. Alright, we've degreased it. Now we're adding in a jar of pasta sauce. I'm going to do some of this because we might wind up using a second jar. Not quite decided how that's going to turn out. But that's what helps the sauce stick to the pasta. I'm going to get that all nicely mixed in. Then I'm going to pour this into a mixing bowl so we can move on to our veggies and all, because the veggies will not cook in here with this at this point. Just won't happen. There's no space. in part because I doubled the meat because I didn't know what else I was going to do with another ½ pound of each before I had to cook it, and just thought, I know my hubs, no me, my baby, but really my hubs. And extra meaty pasta dish can only go over extra well. So, yeah. All right, we're just gonna set this to the side, then we'll check back. All right, we've melted just a couple tablespoons of butter in here. Get started sauteing our onions and our mushrooms in there. I'm gonna save our basil for a little bit later on. Just get started on this part. We just want them nice and cooked down some. Just gonna do that. They've still got some of the flavoring from the meat, obviously, because we didn't clean the pan. But it is up to you if you want more salt and pepper, more garlic at the moment. Go for it. I'll be adding a little bit more here in a minute, but I'm gonna let these cook down for a few minutes first. So we'll check back then. Alright, so I'm just sprinkling in way more parsley than I meant to, because I forgot that it doesn't do the top like I want. But that's okay. It's not a huge flavor, so that's fine. Some oregano. And it'll be a couple of tablespoons worth of garlic that I'm just kind of shaking in here, because I know we love our garlic. Even our little boy is loving the garlic, probably because I had so much while he was inside of me. Like our savories. Got all that going. Getting the flavor in there real nice. Getting our fresh basil in there now. Smells good. So just cooking that all down. Looking delicious. All right, I'll check back here in a sec. All right, see where I've kind of mixed all these things together so far. So mixing our veggies on it, and then we will do our cheeses. Oh, and we're just baking it for a little bit, but you want your oven preheated to 350. I think I forgot to mention that earlier. All right, give me one sec. All right, so here comes all the cheese. We got 8 ounces of sour cream. Ah! Cut ½ a cup of sour cream. And 15 ounces of ricotta cheese, or you could do cottage cheese, your choice. We're just gonna get all that nicely mixed in. Check back in a little bit. All right, one thing I forgot was that we added in the rest of the pasta water. It didn't necessarily look like it needed it in the moment, but because we're baking it, we don't want this to dry out at all. Don't want to risk that, so did that. Now we're gonna pour it into our casserole dish. It's probably gonna be too much for one, but we're gonna see what we can do. See how that's looking. So far, so good. All right. And remembering that I added a bit more than normal, but also because of the fact that we're going to do all this, this much could go in a smaller dish, which I would normally do, but for baby, I'm just going to set it there and have him eat on that, so we don't worry about anything getting too dried out for him, and this will just be for the hubs and I in this dish. We've got a mixture of 2/3 cup Parmesan and 2 cups mozzarella. And just getting that combined, and just gonna sprinkle it on top. Nice generous amounts. I'm going to put some into the babies so he can have some of the cheeses. All right, I'm going to bake this about 15 to 20 minutes. We just want this to kind of be bubbly on the top, and then we'll be good to go. See you then. Alrighty, smells amazing. I did 15 minutes, and then I did it in the broiler for just a couple minutes to kind of get that bubbly top going. Here it is. Bon appetit. We'll see you later.